All right, I'm going to show a few more approaches on how to design a single cell, and then you can mirror it to make a full quadrant. This particular one, you kind of see that I already have the full quadrant laid out. I already made a single cell, but I'm going to show you how I did this one portion of the design. It's a pretty simple process. So I've already put in my square, and I utilize some of the techniques I show in the other video about using a piece of tracing paper as a marking tool to find out the location of these points, and then you can draw the line in and so forth and so on. But you can watch that video and figure that out. So right now I'm just outlining the square that I have here, just so you can clearly see it in the video. Okay, and next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cross my corners. I'm going to cross my corners again. What that does, that locates the center, but I'm not too concerned about that yet. So what I did here is, if you look here, you see these little dots I put in? So I just went on a certain diagonal, and I think it was possibly this one here, doesn't matter. And I started from the center point, I believe. Or I'm sorry, I started from the corner, and then I just put a red line right on the corner, and then every quarter inch, I believe I did quarter inch, yeah. Every quarter inch, I'm gonna put a, what do you call it? A dot. Intersecting that line, right on the line. It has to be right on the line. If it's not on the line, you're gonna wrap it around to the wrong place. And I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so there's those little dots here. Next thing you need to do is you have to use a transparent triangle, and you have to do the slide technique. And I've been showing you this in a lot of different videos, and I'll just repeat it again one more time. So what I do is I line this up, and I'm looking over this right now so I can kind of see that the transparent triangle is perfectly parallel to that line. Once it's perfectly parallel to, not on a slight diagonal, just perfectly parallel to, I'm going to bring this flat, straight roller right to the side of it, and then I'm going to transfer my weight onto here. So now this is freely moving, but this is stationary. And as long as you don't slide or move, then you can just move this down. And I always put my pencil right on that point I make, just to make sure it's right on that line. And if it's not, make an adjustment. And then I'm just going to do two sides because you can kind of see what it looks like in the end. So I finished that. What I'm going to do next is this side here. I'm just going to, before I do that, where these lines intersect that line here, I'm going to make little tiny dots. It just makes it easier for me to see where to pull the line from. And then I'll also go, after I finish this side, I'll go on this side, and I'll do this one last. And that's how I achieve that. And then as it comes all the way around full circle or full square, it should line up exactly where you had it. So the next thing is put this here. Hope I'm not blocking your view. Yeah. Line it up perfectly. Oops. And then hold this down, transfer your weight. Now this runs smoothly up and down, and take it from the point. And take your time doing this, because if these are inconsistent shapes or inconsistent distances away, it's going to look kind of odd. So take your time. Later on, I'm going to talk about color strategies or opportunities that are there. Something like this design that I'm making because it will wrap all the way around just like this. You could do a reverse gradient. So say you had like blue and red, right? So you took blue and every other one, you did blue number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or maybe 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you could have a red, we'll just call this a 0. And then red could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So red could go darker in value and the blue could go lighter in value in reverse direction. So I call that reverse gradients. The next thing, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to put this on the side, is a quick little sketch that I made here. And this is kind of how I want you to go about it. You don't have to start with a ruler and all that stuff. So I just made this quick little sketch here. I tried to make somewhat of a square looking frame. And then I just made this diagonal line here. I made a diagonal line here. And basically from that point on, this is just a rectangle, right? And I made a diagonal line here and it gave it a dimension, 2 different planes. And then I made a line here, it gets cropped off. I made a line here, which is parallel to this line. Made a line here, made a line here, made a line here. This could be a good starting point. I could make stripes going in this direction, stripes going down, stripes continuing in this direction, stripes going down. These stripes could go in, I don't know. There could be a lot of different things. And I could, how could I figure out the background? I could just do vertical stripes going through the background. And when you repeat this 4 times, you're gonna have this other different shape. So that would be a quick sketch. How would you transfer that sketch into a 6 by 6 inch grid? You just have to go with a diagonal. If you're looking at this guy here, I'm just trying to get this diagonal here. I can just kind of rough it in and transfer it in. Do I want this point to be right at the top? That'd be kind of fun. Why not? I'll do, there you go. There's my first line. My second line I'm going to put in is going to be this guy here on a diagonal. Okay, so, and then my third line I'm going to put right, how thick do I want this? About right here? I'll put right here. And that's going to be on a diagonal in this direction. I'm just looking at this and seeing where it goes. That's going to be in a diagonal in this direction. So those 3 diagonal lines, everything else will be parallel too. There's nothing new if you look at this here. So what I'm going to do now is, again, the slide technique. So I'm going to take this guy here, make it parallel too, slide it down to the corner, run it that way. Where do I want this thing to end? Oh, I don't know. Do I want to go all the way to the corner? What if I went all the way to the corner? I think that'd be kind of fun. And after you put this in, you can always change your design. So if that's all the way in the corner, I'm going to take this line here, run it up in this direction. There you go. Take this line here. Run it down in the corner. That's where I felt like doing it. And then if you look at this design here, what if you say, I feel like having it end right here in terms of where this location is. Or, I'm sorry, if I want this to touch the top, that kind of dictates where it ends. So what I'm going to do is I'll take this line here. I'm going to run it across to that point. And again, that's going to dictate it. So that's the new point. And I take this guy here. I run it across. And then I'm going to erase these lines. And then I'm just going to go down on a diagonal. So this is a new diagonal I'm putting in. So what I'm going to do is just, I think I like the idea of it hitting it there. So I'm just going to turn it more of a dramatic turn. 1, 2, 3, and maybe something like this. So I'm putting that line in now. I'm going to slide this all the way up to the corner. And then going to move this over, line it up, keep sticking my hand, and slide into the corner. So this design basically, what was a sketch is now put into practice. And then from this point on, what do I do with it? Apply stripes. Again, you can apply stripes in this direction. So what I could do, oh, this is a nice little trick. If you want to apply 1/4-inch stripes and you put your ruler up here and you look at the 1/4 inches and then the last one's a little short or a little long, instead of making it parallel to the line, if you angle the ruler a little bit and just make sure that a red line is here and a red line is here, and then you can just mark your 1/4 inches, it just condenses the space and it makes everything even. So it's not going to be a perfect 1/4 inch, which is fine. It's just going to be a little bit less, but consistent all the way throughout. And once you put those lines in, you can just get the same trick. God, these things are annoying. The same trick, line it up parallel, and then you just put those lines back in, just like I've been showing you before. 1, 2, and so forth. So I would just hit this with each line, and then what could come next from this. So I basically designed 3 different ideas here. Any of them can work. So I want you to make some sketches, some quick sketches, just like you see here, and then commit to a couple and see what they look like as a 6x6 inch grid. Take this out. And just show you one more thing. And then after you make the 6x6 inch grid, then you can kind of see what it looks like as a quadrant once you do something like this, and to see what it looks like that way. The other trick is, which side do you mirror it on? That's another question you're going to have to answer. Now, I will show you one last thing, and then I'll end this video. 1, 2. So right now I'm just going to mark off where these lines intersect. And again, that makes it easy for me. And what I'm going to do now, put my transparent triangle here, my ruler here, and then right where those areas of intersection are, I am running a line straight down. So as you can kind of see, I could continue this all the way up, and the distance of this dictates the distance of that. And the thickness of this is fine. You can paint that, that's fine. Imagine this repeated 3 times. It's going to have some kind of X design. This way, and this way. All right, make some sketches. Until the next video.